Good Friday evening, Internet land. My name is Kip. This is America Bumper to Bumper, and you are watching not Buy It or Boot It. You are watching Car Chat with Kip. There we go. Forgot to change my little banner there, so here we are, Car Chat with Kip. If you're new to this show, we go through some car stories, news type stories. We do some recalls, and that's about it. We are going to do a couple of channel type updates, and then we will get into the news stories. It's probably going to be a shorter live stream for tonight, but let's take a look at some stuff. As you're seeing here, channel update. We actually lost a subscriber from last week, which bummer, but you know, I haven't been putting out a lot of content, so not terribly surprising on my part. Wednesday's Buy It or Boot It episode 2 didn't have as much traction on it as I was hoping. Episode 1 went a whole lot better. But that's, again, probably just me not getting enough word out there that it was happening. So I'm going to try to get that all fixed for next time. What else we got? We got Facebook. Not a whole lot is changing on there. I think we've gotten a few more members to the page here, which is always a nice thing. And Instagram, I really haven't been doing a whole lot with Instagram just because I don't have the content to do. So we're going to start this off with a story from Drive Tribe. Drive Tribe, I think that's what I said. And it is the 10 biggest automotive news stories of 2019, according to them. And the number one story, or first story that they're going to bring up is Porsche got serious about electric cars. 2015, Porsche introduced the Mission E at the Frankfurt Auto Show. And then a couple of years ago, they announced their plan to prioritize Formula E over endurance races. Racing series that should have been given competitions a head up of the brand's intention. Now it's 2019, and the first all-electric Porsche, the Taycan, is finally here. I'm still not sold on the styling of this thing. Then again, nobody asked me. Taycan is the first and foremost a Porsche. Brand marketing and PR people have been saying this over and over from day one. Fact is, it's powered by electricity rather than petrol. That won't change that. Range topping Taycan Turbo S. Yeah, I know, turbo. Puts out 761 PS. Not sure what PS it would be. 770 foot-pounds of torque. It is equipped with a 93.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack and crucially synchronous motors, which means a powertrain can deliver consistent performance figures without even fading away. That's pretty impressive. The number 2 story, according to Drive Tribe, they fell in love with the Ford Ranger Raptor. 2019 Ford Ranger Raptor, to put in cinematographic terms, has been received with wide acclaim. Everybody seems to love it, and I think I know why. Okay. Let's see. Nameplate Raptor is traditionally been used on the range-topping high-performance version of the F-150. The F-Series truck is far and away the best-selling vehicle in the U.S., and it's been the best-selling truck for 42 consecutive years. It's never been sold outside the U.S. continent, or American continent. On the contrary, the Ranger Raptor has more or less been built specifically for Europe, precisely because the F-150 trucks has never been officially available there. So that's why everybody else loves it. Okay. I say the next one is the Mustang Mach-E all-electric SUV. Big mistake. We'll get into that, I think, in a minute. Ford introduced the all-electric Mustang Mach-E midsize sedan this year. One of the most controversial cars. No, I think the Tesla Cybertruck is far more controversial, but we'll get into it. A lot of people didn't like the fact that it's electric, but even more people didn't like the body shape because it's essentially a crossover SUV. Well, yes, it is a crossover SUV. No, I don't think either one of those things are the problem. I think the problem with the Mustang Mach-E is the fact that they used the name Mustang Mach-E. You could have called that anything else, and it would have been, okay. Thunderbird, no, it wouldn't have been okay as a Thunderbird either. But that's where Ford screwed up. The naming of it is its downfall. Car looks good. I mean, I don't even mind the Mustang-inspired rear lights or even the front end, but they never should have called it a Mustang. All new Defender is here. The original Defender was developed in the 80s, but it traces its roots back to the Land Rover series introduced in '48. Production was halted in 2016, and that means that it has been sold pretty much unchanged for 68 years. Jaguar Land Rover thought long and hard about the successor to the retired Defender and spent years designing and engineering it. And then in September of this year, they've introduced the all-new Defender. I don't agree. It looks, it's okay, but it's not a Defender by what a lot of people know or love. Number 5, yes, Tesla's Cybertruck. It is, I think, the far more the controversial vehicle on basically whether it's gonna actually be a viable truck or not. And the thought that it'll actually have anywhere from 200 to 500 mile range, that's again going to be a lot to be seen. Bentley celebrates its 100th birthday. Has been celebrating its 100th birthday since January. Excuse me. Bentley being 100, that's pretty cool. Happy birthday to them. I don't think it's all that impressive because there's other companies out there just as old, if not older. But happy birthday, Bentley. This is definitely a big story of 2019. Chevy introduced the first ever production mid-engine Corvette. The C8 Corvette, and the pricing to start out with is what's going to make this car an absolute and utter hit. Stories that are going on right now are the production run for 2020 is sold out. I don't think that's going to end up being the truth. I do believe that they'll be pumping out way more cars than they're saying, just because if they can sell them, they're gonna. But that does look really, really good. Okay, Mercedes just keeps on winning. Number 8. That's Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 team. Have once again dominated 2019 Formula One season by winning their 6th consecutive constructors title. 235 points clear of Ferrari, and 6th consecutive drivers title, thus becoming the first team to achieve 6 consecutive title doubles. Since the start of the 2014 season, the first of the turbo hybrid era. Mercedes has won 89 out of 121 races. Holy moly. 62 of them with Lewis Hamilton, which is an exceptional F1 driver. 20 with Rosberg, 7 with Bottas. Brand also made a debut in Formula E. Hey, Jason, how are you? Good to have you in. Another big story from 2019. Bugatti introduced the most expensive car in the world. You see that pictured there. It is the Devo, which is a variant of the Chiron. It's a spin-off, so to speak. And this thing, this particular one is La Voiture Noire. Something black. I don't speak. I speak some French, but not enough to know that. And the price tag on it is $18 to $19 million for a brand new car. I don't see it. I wouldn't do that. No way. No how. And the biggest. Oh, no, 9th. Okay. Sorry, guys. 10. They're saying that the 10th biggest story of the year is that Detroit Auto Show for 2020 is not going to be in January like it's been for so many years. It is now going to be held in June, and there's going to be other changes to the show as well. So that's what Drive Tribe says as the 10 biggest stories of 2019. And this I just had to pull up because I think it's kind of hilarious. Somebody knocked off the Cybertruck even before it's on sale. This picture was taken in Moscow of somebody that made the Cybertruck. There's a little video of it actually driving on the road. It'd be interesting to see what that thing would be underneath, but man, I don't care who you are. Oops. I still don't get the Cybertruck, that's for sure. Next story is GM is dishing out $1.5 billion to their Wentzville, Missouri plant for Colorado and GMC canyons to continue to be built there. This is basically for the next generation of those trucks. They're not giving any details on what the trucks are going to be like, but it does keep 4,000 jobs in Missouri. And this all came down to Missouri lawmakers passing a $50 million tax break for GM. You're absolutely right, Jason. The Cybertruck, no matter how you package it, is whether it's a knockoff or the real thing, is still pretty ugly. $1 billion investment in this the plant. They're saying is for the Colorado and Canyon, and they're not saying anything about the other vehicles that are built there, which is the Chevy Express and the GMC Savannah work vans. But the investment, yep, absolutely. $1 billion investment will cover the paint shop, body, and general assembly areas, retooling for the next generation truck. No real details on when those the next generation truck is coming out. But if they're going to be investing that money, I'm going to say it's not going to be terribly long. Says the words are out right now. FCA and PSA, the parent company for Peugeot and Citroën, have inked the deal to merge, but they're also expecting that this will take up to a year to finalize, and they wanted to make sure everyone knew Peugeot's plans to return to the U.S. aren't being changed by their merger with FCA at this point. Who knows what's going to happen in the near future, because Peugeot is not looking to come back to the shores until 2026. So I'm sure once the deal is finalized and everything's all figured out, I'm not going to guarantee because I can't, but I bet you Peugeot and potentially Citroen will be back in the States way earlier than 2026. Not a lot of info on whether the FCA headquarters are going to be the new headquarters for the merged company, or whether the merged headquarters will be in Atlanta, where PSA's current American headquarters are. But anyways, it'll be interesting to see how that all sugars out over the next few years. Really, to me, I could care less whether Peugeot or Citroen come back into the States. In my opinion, of course, I don't know their lineup terribly well, especially since Top Gear doesn't really do a whole lot. Or I don't watch Top Gear anymore since the guys left. But yeah, hey, more power to them. All right. This is from Motoricious. It is the biggest automotive comebacks and failures of 2019, and they've had plenty of them. And you can guess from that first picture where place your bets on where the new Supra is going to be. The first failure, in their opinion, for the 2019 year is the Chevy Blazer. I 100% fully agree, especially with the Bronco coming back. The Bronco is going to be fighting directly against the Jeep Wrangler. When I first heard that the Blazer was coming back, that was my hope as well, as lots of people out there. But when the first pictures came up and it was just a sporty midsize, basically the same thing as the Equinox, but a little bit sportier, major letdown. They could have, again, like I said earlier with the Mustang Mach-E, they could have named this thing anything. Trailblazer would have been fine. They could have done Trailblazer on this thing and it would have been perfectly fine. Blazer is such an iconic name for the Chevy brand. They ruined it. Every time I see one of these things, I want to gag. I don't like it at all. Next up, comeback. Although as I say right there, C7 was never really a failure and was not a bad car, but the C7 had, according to engineers, reached its peak for performance and handling, all that sort of stuff. And the only logical step to further those things was going mid-engine. So that's why this came, they're saying this is a comeback, is because it actually is a mid-engine. And at the price point that they've got this car, it's hard to see why this thing is not going to be a massive hit. And as I said before, I fully expect, although Chevy says right now they're all sold out, that they will be selling far more than they initially expected, because they're going to pump out as many as they can. I just have a real good feeling about that. But also on the failure side is the C8, and what they are complaining about is the controls down the center of the I want to say that backbone and down the center of the car. I kind of disagree. It's kind of an odd placement, but it's unusable space to begin with, so why not throw something in there, make it more useful. And I like that they actually have buttons there rather than everything going on the infotainment screen. A lot of cars are, do that. They have every feature that's controlled on the vehicle is done on the infotainment screen, and it's just oh. And I do agree. My first reaction to the C8 was, wow, that looks weird. The next reaction was, wow, that is, for the money that you're spending on it, absolutely an amazing car. Yeah, it's definitely growing on me more and more. And if I can finally see one in person, which I know won't be till next year, gotta, yeah, redundant and actual buttons rather than just like a touch screen thing that, those touch screens, they're gonna fail. And once you amen, Jason, they touch screens do suck, but it is the way of the future, like electricity in electric cars. So unfortunately, but again, I don't think that's a bad feature and a bad location. It definitely gives the car a definite fighter pilot, fighter cockpit type feel, and I think that's cool. It'd be interesting to know exactly what this little compartment's for. I know sunglasses probably, but weird. And yeah, the Toyota Supra is pretty much a failure. They are not selling anywhere close to the numbers that they were hoping, and especially not at the prices. I think the biggest turnoff for this car was the fact that it's, Toyota didn't make it. The styling's a little weird. I think that Toyota should have taken an extra, year or two, and yeah, it could be a couple or two. They should have done this themselves. I think they have learned a little bit because they are saying absolutely. Well, not a lot of people, other than people who love BMW, want to buy BMW. I think BMW's reputation is gone down so far over the past several years. I would take an 80s and 90s, early 90s, Beamer over anything nowadays. They were riddled with their own problems, but at least it was, if I want a Beamer, I'll buy one. Yeah, absolutely. In this situation, I will pay the little bit of extra money and buy the, Z4 over the Toyota Supra all day long. It's not a good looking car, and it's not what people want. The Mustang, the Shelby GT500 they have as a comeback. Same thing with it. Yes, yeah, they did, but the only thing that I can say about the FRS is they didn't tarnish a well-known name. The FRS and the BRZ twins, at least those were new cars. If they had named the FRS, the MR2, that would have been a huge, kick in the nuts. And I think, yeah, but it is true. If you want a Subaru, buy a Subaru. And out of those two cars, I would go with the BRZ because I just think it looks just that little bit better. Hopefully, Toyota, makes, from what I understand, they're strongly considering bringing back the MR2, and that'll be something that they design and produce. All right. Shelby GT500. This is going to be an absolutely insane car. 760 horsepower, supercharged 5.2, cross plane crank V8. Nuts. It's going to be, I think somebody has already taken delivery of one and put it down the drag strip and put back some pretty solid numbers on it. Overall, it definitely looks like a Mustang. It's definitely got some GT500. It can definitely live up to the GT500 name. And as we talked about a few other times during this episode, Cybertruck, I think, is just insane. It is I will find it very hard to believe that Tesla can actually produce these things. It's, I think, just too weird of a concept for it to actually be viable. Another failure, and we talked about this before, the Mustang Mach-E. They could have named this thing anything else, literally anything other than Mustang, and it would have been okay. This is such a far departure from Mustang. And as I said before, the Mustang Qs, I think, are great. Use some parts from the Mustang to what is it? The economics of scale. So for Mustang parts in there, great. Don't call it a Mustang. I don't think that this is gonna in any sort of way. The Mustang name is not going to help this car. If anything, it's going to hurt it. But again, time shall tell. I didn't even know this car was going to be coming out, and I don't even know how to pronounce it. But the Lotus Avia, maybe? I don't know. That's a pretty nice looking car. 2,000 horsepower on tap EV, 200 mile an hour. That's an electric car I can get behind. I'd still rather have an gas engine, but that's a pretty car right there. Oh, and another failure, and Silverados, their styling isn't great, but it's tolerable. The HDs, I look at that and it makes me want to vomit. It is such a, I don't even know what to say there. Yes, they absolutely should have called it something other than Mustang, but that front end, it's so busy, it's hard to look at. And the Tahoe and Suburbans, their face is definitely closer to the pickup than this, but I'm sorry. That thing is really hard to look at. I had a buddy who is definitely not a Ford guy, but he went out and bought a F-150 over the Silverado because they just don't look good. I'm hoping that they fix that. I really do. Touchscreen hell. Yes, we were talking about that a minute ago. Cars these days are the most part just loaded with screens, and it's getting worse. Yeah, yep. Everything is just touchscreen, touchscreen, touchscreen. I like the old analog. It's, in my opinion, easier to control, especially when you have to go between different screens to get to different things that you want to do with your car. And you're supposed to keep your eyes on the road. No, thank you. Bring me back just analog and old. I want my Zelda. You know, she's got a lot of electronics in it, but man, I love my Zelda. And another comeback, which this is going to be, I think it's going to be huge. I don't think they're going to be as big as they're going to take some market share away from Wrangler. I don't think it's going to be a massive amount unless they do it right. And so far, everything is pointing towards Ford doing the Bronco right. It's going to be really interesting, and I cannot wait to see this vehicle when they release it in 2020. They make it right, and I will, if I have the money, I will go out and buy it. I don't, but I would. Yep, I think it's going to be a nice hit for Ford, bringing the Bronco back, and especially it being a Bronco. AM Radio and Dale, yep, absolutely. Bring back the old stuff. Love it. Still want to see this movie. Have not had the opportunity, but Ford versus Ferrari. What I understand, it was an exceptional movie. Really brought the characters and the story to life, which is just awesome. And I really cannot wait to see this movie probably on Netflix or something when it finally is available. So I like it. Good comebacks and failure stories of 2019. And NHTSA has started upgrading an investigation in General Motors over windshield wiper failure. If their studies find the problems, then there's going to be a massive recall, far greater than the recall that happened in 2016 for the Equinox and Terrain. They could expand to lots of other vehicles, 1.7 million of them overall. GM says there's nothing wrong with it, and now it's up to the government to decide whether they're going to force GM to fix a whole lot more cars. So that's a hard hit for them. We got 2 recalls for GM, over 900,000 vehicles, 2 separate campaigns, brake software issue, and fire risks. 550,000 2019 Silverados, CT6 and Sierra 1500s are being recalled due to potential software glitch that could disable vehicle parking systems, vehicle brake systems and the notifications. Basically, it's just the analog brake system, so it's not like you're going to lose all brakes. It's just the analog brake system. The error, which GM said is rare, which is kind of GM speak for, I don't know, they didn't do that, may result in the vehicle stability control or analog brake system to disable. Again, not terribly a huge deal. You're still going to have brakes if the ABS system does not work. GM said the vehicle's diagnostic system will not illuminate the instrument cluster, which is a bit of a bummer. And they're going to reflash the software to fix that issue. The other recall is for 400,000 2019 and 2020 GMC Sierras and Silverados, because the positive battery cable ring may have been manufactured with excessive glue, which could cause a fire. So 1 fire has been reported, no injuries, but 400,000 are going to get new battery terminals. And that's going to be the show for this evening. gonna cut it kind of short because I got some holiday stuff to attend to for the rest of the evening. I do want to put it out there. Did I freeze? I must have frozen. Oh no! Google Chrome is crashing on me. Oh, there we go. Kind of. All right, I'm back. Woo. All right. Yeah, so that's it for tonight. I want to thank everybody. Well, Jason, who was in the live stream for a while, thank you very much. I also want to put a plug out there that please remember Wednesday nights, with the exception of this Wednesday because it's Christmas, is Buy It or Boot It. If you don't know what Buy It or Boot It is where we go on Facebook Marketplace. We put in a city and state price range, and then we look at a bunch of different cars and decide whether they're worth the money that the people are asking for it or not. So please tune in on Wednesdays for that live stream. We're going to keep doing this one. We'll also have some other videos coming up in the near future. And as we do with all of our videos and live streams, dreams without ambition is like a car without gas. You're not going to get very far. God bless. Take care. Merry Christmas. Have a great rest of your evening. Take care.